Hello, and welcome to the debut episode of Torch Talk. I'm your host, Mario Tortorello. Tortorello, Torch Talk. Get it? Very clever. It didn't take me that long to come up with that. Maybe 5 minutes. So I know what you're all saying right now. Who the hell is this guy, and what is this all about? And you know what? That is a damn fine question to ask. That and why are we here? But this one's a lot more easier for me to answer. So, let me give you the origin story that'll tie up knowing me and the podcast. It's kind of like the origin story of a superhero, but no one's parents are gunned down in an alley, at least not to my knowledge, and no one was bitten by a radioactive cockroach or spider or ladybug or anything else. So, what happened was I'm a writer. Well, I say I'm a writer. I haven't sold anything yet, and I don't have an agent. I don't like aspiring because that makes me sound like I'm 3 years old and just starting. And I don't like wannabe because that makes me sound pathetic. So I just say, I'm a writer. So I'm a writer and I created a series about my fucked up life. Now, we won't go into the details about why my life is fucked up in this episode, maybe further down the line. But the Cliff Note version is it's not Dateline 2020 fucked up. More like, dude, how much more shit can be wrong with you fucked up? So I created it and I wrote the pilot. A friend of mine gave it to their agent, and the agent loved it. Flipped over it. Thought it was great. They thought it was original. So now I have an agent, right? No, I do not. Still do not sign me. But the one thing he said that was very frustrating was he didn't see it as a TV series. He saw it as, quote, something much bigger, end quote. Now, what would have been especially helpful is to say, here's the much bigger thing I see it as. But alas, he did not. He suggested stuff like writing an article for the Huffington Post, maybe writing a book. So then I decided, okay, I'll do a Substack. I'll give it the title of the show, and I'll write about my life. So I did 3 essays on Substack. And then I just started thinking and feeling like it was just too constraining. Because for one, even though the show is based on my life, it's still fiction. It still has characters. And I wouldn't be writing about characters, I'd be writing about me. And I thought it was just much better off and less confusing if I kept it as the script. I also thought I want to talk about other things. I don't want to talk about me and all my problems because that's just boring after a while, except if it's a TV series. Remember that. So, but I thought it was weird, like, I can't write about this episode if I liked Supergirl or not, when last week I told you I was in the hospital with AFib. So, I came up with the idea just to start over. I deleted the 3 posts from Substack, I scratched it all, and I decided to make this a podcast instead of just essays, even though I will be putting essays on there. And I'd make it about pretty much everything that I'm interested in, and hopefully other people are as well. Pop culture, movies, the entertainment industry, comic books, music, regular books, food. I like to cook. I like to eat, which is apparent if you see me. So I figured I could just put whatever is on my mind, and that's what the podcast will be about. So I guess in a nutshell, it's a podcast about nothing and yet everything. So right now, let's just get with the elephant in the room. Let's just get it out of the way. I know you're all listening and saying, hold on, I'm confused. He introduced himself as Mario Tortorello. Why isn't it Mario Tortorello? And well, that's none of your business. But no, I'm just kidding. So I was born and raised in West Philly. West Philadelphia, born and raised. I did not spend most of my days on the playground, however. I spent most of my days on the couch watching television. Except for the times my mom would force me to go outside, lock me out of the house, and make me go out and play. At first, I was rebelling against it. I just was like, fine, fuck it. I'll sit on the steps for an hour and then I'll go back in. I'm outside. Can't really complain about anything. We can do semantics. But then eventually, I started to venture out further and further off, different steps onto the pavement, out in the street, and started playing with the other kids in the neighborhood. We played stuff like street hockey, but we were very bright and we used a real puck. And I was goalie and got hit in the face. That was fun. That was a good day. So we weren't bright, but we had lots of bruises. But anyway, everyone in West Philly, and as far as I know, the East Coast, they say Mario. That's what my parents called me, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, my friends. It was always Mario for most of my life. The only time it changed just a little bit in Philly was when that stupid fucking video game came out. Then I'd get the occasional Mario from people who didn't know me. And I'll be honest, and I shouldn't tell you this because it's like my kryptonite. When people call me Mario, it's like they're running their fingers on a chalkboard with that annoying screeching sound. Oh my God, that's what it's like. My blood just boils and chills go down my spine. And it's just, ugh, I hate it. So now this video comes out, this video game. And of course, you get the jokes. Is your brother named Luigi? Are you a plumber? And the best was every person thought they were the most original person ever. Like I'd never heard these things before when they were actually the 1 millionth person to say that fucking stupid joke. I was also very upset and resentful that I could never find anything with my name on it. You know, you go to Six Flags, go to Disney World, never find anything, not a mug, not a keychain. Now I could find plenty of things with my name on it, except it had that plumber on it. And I was not going to get a shirt that said Mario with that plumber on it. So as you can tell, I was very, very bitter. I've calmed down a lot in the last few months, actually, because Universal has Nintendo World. And even though I don't really play the games, that's a really cool part of the park. And I saw Yoshi, and Yoshi is just adorable. And then the Mario Brothers came out and greeted people, and they were pretty cool. So I thought, all right, I'll give the guy a break. He's a paisan. He's trying to make a living. Who am I to say? And I also thought it was cool. I read an article somewhere that the guy who owned the warehouse that Nintendo started out in doing this video game, his name was Mario. And it got to the point where things weren't going well for them. They were losing money. They couldn't pay rent. But instead of kicking them out, Mario let them stay, do their work. They finally succeeded. And to thank him and honor him, they named the character Mario, Super Mario. Okay, so here we are. West Philly, the occasional Super Mario, mostly Mario. Then we moved to Los Angeles. Yeah, that is very, very fun. For some really weird reason, it was like a brand new name. No one's ever heard of Mario. What's Mario? I've never heard that. And you say, like, you know, some people say Mario. Oh, I've never heard it pronounced that way before. And it just kind of boggled my mind because, I mean, I've seen movies, I've seen TV shows where they say Mario. I even give people 3 examples for them to look up. And you can do this too. This can be your homework after listening to this first episode, which is going to be short, by the way. There's a Sylvester Stallone movie from 1978 called Paradise Alley. It was the first film he directed, and he also sang the title song, which, overreaching a little bit there. We didn't really need that, you know. Directing, great. Writing, great. Acting, great. Don't need to sing. Leave that to the professionals. But it takes place in 1946, and there's a club called Paradise Alley, hence the title of the film. And you need to know like a password or something to get in. And he goes with his brother one night, but he doesn't know the password. So he knocks on the door. The bouncer opens up that little sliding thing. I don't know the technical term. And Stallone says, "We're friends of Mario." And his brother says, "Who's Mario?" And he goes, "I don't know, but everybody knows someone named Mario," which, when you think about it, is true. And if you don't know Mario before, you know me, and you know one now. That's example number 1. The second example is there's an episode of Seinfeld, and it's called The Frogger. I don't remember quite what season it was. I feel like it may have been the later seasons. But anyway, so George comes over to Jerry's and tells him that the pizza shop they used to go to all the time when they were in high school, called Mario's, and he says Mario's, is closing. So they want to go there one last time to get one last slice. And when they go in, that's what they say. Hey, Mario, it's George and Jerry. You remember us? And he says, no. And then, for those of you who may not be familiar with the episode, George sees the Frogger machine that's still there when they played it in high school, and he still has the number one score. So now he wants to take the Frogger home because in his sad, pathetic life, that's one of the biggest achievements he's ever had, and he's worried that it's going to disappear once the pizza place closes down. Hijinks and chaos ensue as he gets Kramer to help him get it home with a battery so he doesn't lose his score. And if you haven't seen the episode, it's really funny. Check it out. Now, the third example, check out all three if you want the trifecta, the hat trick, whatever you want to call it, is the Bruce Willis movie Hudson Hawk. Yeah, it was a big bomb when it came out, I believe in the early 90s, 90, 91, but it's highly underrated. It's different, it's kind of quirky, so it's not that bad. But anyway, there are these three brothers, they're three mobsters, and they're called the Mario Brothers. And people all in the movie call them the Mario Brothers. So that is my proof that Mario exists. People do call me Mario. There are other people out there named Mario. There's another Mario in my grade school. He was called Mario. It's there. There's evidence. It's not like Bigfoot where we kind of see sightings and we're not really sure. Check out those three things and you will see. Plus, what always kind of confuses me is Marion is my name with an N on it. It's not Marion. So just take off the N and it's Mario. And there you go. But that's how I pronounce it. Now, it's really fun going in the coffee shops and you give them your name, and they just kind of look at you like, huh? And I wanted to do a collection. It's too bad, like back then, there wasn't none of this stuff, because I really want to do a collection of the names that were on my coffee cups. There was a Merrill. I don't know how Mario sounds like Merrill. There was like an M with just a bunch of question marks. They didn't even want to try to guess it. And it's kind of cracked me up because it's Los Angeles. Everyone here has some weird-ass names. I know someone who knows a parent with a kid named Rogue Nugget. Rogue Nugget. And his mom's a stripper, but still, that is a weird name, even if you are a Star Wars fan. I have a cousin who named his daughter Anastasia and his son Anakin. But out here, I mean, there are people, and they spell their name D-A-N-A, but it's not Dana, it's Dana. And there's other people that they spell their name A-N-D-R-E-A, but it's not Andrea, it's Andrea. And no one ever seems to have a problem with it. No one looks at the girl weird when she says, hi, I'm Dana. There's even a Dana Bash on CNN or something, and no one ever is like, what? Not with me. Then they got to the point, which really cracked me up, that they correct me. I can't believe people correct someone's name. I would never do that in a million years. But that's what they do. I'd go to the Coffee Bean or to Starbucks. They ask for name. I would say Mario. And they go, I'm sorry? I go, Mario? I'm sorry, like one more time. Like M-A-R-I-O? Oh, Mario. Okay. I'm like, no, it's, never mind. So I started being called Mario more and more and just had to get used to the snails down the chalkboard, which I have become used to. I used to feel bad in the beginning because people would call me and I would never turn around because I didn't think they were talking to me. My name isn't Mario, it's Mario. And I didn't realize that people were actually talking to me. And one time I was in a Target and I heard someone say, hey, Mario Tortorello. And I knew it had to be somebody from back home because they said both of my names correctly. And sure enough, it was. It was a friend of mine I used to work with at a Sam Goody. For you kids today, they used to sell these things called records, which then they started selling CDs. Now they're gone. And he had moved out to L.A., so I knew, like, okay, I'm not crazy. He said it that way because he's from back east too, so there you go. Even at work, I worked with a Dana, and I was always cool and called her Dana. And she'd be like, no, Mario. I'm like, fuck you, Dana. You say your name right then. But hey, you know what? I've worked with guys named Mario. That's how they pronounce it, and that's how I pronounced it. They say, hey, Mario. I say, what's up, Mario? Because I'm not pushing my Mario agenda on other Marios. I'm just trying to get people to say my name correctly. And it gets frustrating because, I already have this mess of a last name with all the friggin' vowels in it that you can muster. So no one can even say that. So now I've gone through my life with them messing up my last name. Now they're fucking up my first name. But in school, it was the worst with the last name because I always knew during roll call when I was coming up. Not only because I knew the alphabet, because I'm smart like that, but because there was always dead silence. Dead. It'd be like Joe Shlomo, Mike Smith, and finally I would just be like, present, I'm here. And then eventually they just say, Mario, I'd be like, I'm here. Except for one English teacher. This guy drove me crazy. He was determined to say my last name. Because he called everyone in class by their last name. It was Mr. Jones, Mr. Smith, so he wanted to call me Mr. Tortorello. Every fucking day, he say, Mr. Turca, I'm like, Tortorello? I'll get it, Mr. Turca, you know what, I'll get it tomorrow. And finally I was like, you can just call me Mario. That's cool. My parents do it. Other people do it. You can call me Mario. But no, he was determined. He was determined to get my last name right. Didn't matter what I did. Flashcards, spelled it phonetically, Torcharello. Didn't work. The poor man failed. I think I may have caused him to go crazy. He may be in an asylum somewhere, writing my name on the board over and over and over again. But that's not my fault. But it does bring up the next question you're probably thinking. Well, if it's Tortorello, why is it started Turch? And I'm going to answer you that question. And that answer is no fucking clue. Years and years and years ago, a relative of mine, I guess my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, got on a boat in Italy, sailed on over to Ellis Island, and he decided it was Tortorello. I wasn't emotionally involved with the decision. I wasn't even around then, obviously. But that's how he pronounced it, and that's how it went. But if it makes you feel any better, I think there used to be double L's at the end. Used to be Iarollo. But they decided to give people a break. They took out one of the L's. So there you have it. That's my name, Mario Tortorello. Thank you for letting me share that trauma with you. And if you see me on the street, I know you're probably going to be a dick and call me Mario. And that's okay. That's okay. Because we're all friends here, as long as you listen. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. And also, if you get the movie reference of the title of this episode, you are a film geek, and we can be friends and hang out. So I want to keep this episode short, because like I said, I just wanted to introduce myself, tell you what the podcast is going to be about, who I am, so you're not like, huh? Starting next week, because I'm going to try to drop one every Thursday, perhaps even Friday, depending on what I do. Sometimes I go to a movie on Thursday if a new movie is opening up, and then I'll talk about it on a Friday podcast. And if I don't go to the movies, then I'll do a Thursday podcast. I actually was supposed to go to the movies tonight to see The Furious, which looks amazing and amazingly violent. And I'm sorry, but I love violent action films. I'm not a violent man. I want to be, but I'm not. And I just love violent action films like The Killer, John Wick, you name it. So I was supposed to go see that tonight, but me and my friend forgot this is the night that Disclosure Day opens, and we knew it was going to be a clusterfuck for parking at the AMC Burbank. So we decided to go like on a Monday or a Tuesday when it's not going to be quite as crazy. So hopefully I'll get to see that soon and talk about it with you guys. Hopefully I'll get to talk to you about some more movies and music and comic books. I still haven't picked up my comic books. I'm like 2 or 3 weeks behind. I'm always behind on my comic books. But if you live in the LA area, go to my comic book store. It's called Revenge Of. It's in Glassell Park. They have great selection of comics. They have awesome pinball machines. The people that work there are the best. They have all these great events, all this fun stuff. Check it out if you're in the area. You need to go and shop there. I'm not getting paid for any of this. That's how much I love those guys. They're just awesome. So that's me. Hope you enjoyed this. The podcast has an Instagram page. It's at Torch Talk Podcast if you want to follow that. And hopefully you'll subscribe and listen here on Substack and any place else that I may have this. Hopefully I'm going to get it on new platforms pretty soon. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining, and I'll talk to you later.